Howdy gamers, let's talk about the runes for Kai'Sa AD Carry. It really doesn't get simpler than this. With the keystone, it's going to be press the attack. Hitting an enemy champion with 3 consecutive attacks deals bonus damage that's based on your level and exposes them, making them vulnerable to all damage sources. And that percentage damage increase is also based on your level. And then it lasts for 6 seconds. This is the most synergistic with Kai'Sa, obviously, as her passive is 4 hits. So with press the attack, you're always going to be proccing this before you would proc her passive unless you've hit the W beforehand. And then that's going to amplify the damage that you deal with that. And then also amplify all damage afterwards. And usually with Kai'Sa, you're getting 3 autos off before you either cast the W or even your Q. And even if you do cast your Q before that, then usually a second rotation of your Q comes up in the duration of an all-in. With the third rune, or with the second rune, you have the option of Overheal, Triumph, and Presence of Mind. Overheal giving you a shield for excess healing. Champions like Misfortune, Aphelios, etc., they make way better use out of this as they have better itemization into lifesteal and then also just hit harder with just their basic attacks. Kai'Sa is a mix of like her on hit and then her ability damage, and more so just her passive damage. With Triumph, takedowns restore 12% of your missing health and grant you additional 20 gold. And then with Presence of Mind, takedowns restore 12% of your maximum mana and then permanently increase it. If you're building into Mana Immune or plan to do so, then Presence of Mind is completely fine on Kai'Sa, as you're effectively getting more attack damage through this rune and then therefore more damage once you've completed Muramana with Kai'Sa. Missing out on the healing from Triumph, it feels kind of bad, but depending on your team comps and then kind of just depending on how the game plays out, you might not be missing out on absolutely anything with Triumph. So if you plan on building Storm Razors or even AP, then running Triumph is going to be your best option. But if you are building Muramana, then Presence of Mind is just higher value and scales harder, as again it gives you more attack damage through that item. So really weird, but it's just how it functions with this champion. For the third rune here, you have the good options of Alacrity and Bloodline. Bloodline's higher value as again, you don't have like any way to itemize lifesteal that easily. So getting it through the runes is going to be giving you more healing, and if you're running Presence of Mind with this, you're still going to get healing from hitting the enemy versus getting kills or assists. So you're still going to have sustain in fights. With Bloodline, you do have to stack up the lifesteal, but by the time mid game comes around, you're going to have this completely stacked up. You earn progress towards it through kills and assists, killing large monsters, and killing minions. It stacks up really quickly. Missing out on the attack speed can put you at weird itemization timings where you can't evolve the E, but that can be offset with the purchase of like 1 dagger if you need to do so. So that's not that bad of an investment to have the lifesteal at all stages of the game, because if you were to try to purchase the lifesteal, it would be about an 800 gold investment for either double Dorans or Vamsampter versus the 300 gold for a dagger to evolve the E when you need to do so or want to do so. But you are missing out on that, so it's not a meaningless trade-off. For the fourth rune, I think it's going to be Coup de Grace. You can run Cutdown whenever you're playing into a lot of tanks. Cutdown deals 5 to 15% more damage to champions based on how much more maximum health they have than you. So obviously, man, if you're playing into like Zac, Sion, Trundle, Ornn, etc., Cutdown might be the way to go. With Coup de Grace, you deal 8% more damage to champions who have less than 40% health. This will also help you against tankier champions if your team can get them low enough to start. Kai'Sa is a type of champion who can just shred through tanks once she has enough items too, so cut down isn't so necessary on her compared to champions who really rely on like every single instance of their damage mattering, such as Jinx, Kog'Maw, etc. So Coup de Grace is going to be more generally useful, and even if you're not playing into tanks, then you're still going to be getting pretty good value out of it, as you know, you're 1v1 in AD carry, you're dealing more damage. Your support has caught out the enemy AD or support, you're dealing more damage. You catch out the enemy jungler, you're dealing more damage. You're finishing them off with 1 hit, like 2 hits, you're dealing more damage. It gives you more damage, and without it, you just don't have the percentage damage increase. for the secondary runes, you have the options of sorcery or inspiration. As with sorcery, you have good options of Nimbus Cloak and Gathering Storm. Nimbus Cloak giving you more movement speed after you cast a summoner spell, so every time you cast your heal or flash, then you get more movement speed. Kai'Sa really doesn't need this compared to other AD carries because Kai'Sa has her E and her ult to reposition in fights. And Gathering Storm is okay on Kai'Sa as well. Gathering Storm can also help you hit attack damage thresholds to evolve your Q, so that's good. And I mean, both of these are fine, and they usually do outweigh Inspiration Second. With Inspiration Second, you would only really have good options of Perfect Timing and Biscuits, and then you would want to run this into lanes such as Leona Philios or against when the mid laner is champions like Talon, Zed, or even the top laner could be Irelia, Camille, etc. Having the one-time stopwatch can be way more impactful than having more movement speed and then a little bit more AD. But generally, all of this is going to be way more luxurious in solo queue, as having more movement speed on your summoner spells is going to give you a lot more value just to fight people better at all stages of the game. And then having that more AD to supplement, again, the Q evolve is also going to feel better. So more often than not, I think sorcery is going to be your best bet. But you do have the option of Inspiration Second with either Perfect Timing Biscuits or Free Boots and Biscuits. Free Boots to be obviously just to offset the cost of boots, and then accelerate your 2 item spike plus boots. So Monomune, Rage Blade, and then Berserker Greaves, and then you enter the mid game. If you enter the mid game going even with the enemy AD carry, then you're usually outscaling from that point. So that's why you would run this, especially if you had a super non-interactive lane. Then that would probably be giving you higher value. And then Biscuits could also be looked at as giving you more AD with Monomune. But the luxury of Nimbus Cloak and then the general usefulness of Gathering Storm is really good on Kai'Sa, and in most cases, I think you're going to outweigh it. So, and then for the shards, it's going to be attack speed, attack damage, and armor. Who could have saw this coming? Attack speed because you're an AD carry. A lot of what you're doing early is just managing the wave through your auto attacks, and then attack damage to give your auto attacks and your abilities more damage. And then armor, since you're laning in the bot lane, you're taking physical damage from the minions and 2 enemy champions versus 1, and then potentially a tower as well. So you offset that damage. So that's the runes for Kai'Sa. There's really nothing too complicated, and yeah, really the only variation you're looking at is Presence of Mind and Triumph. Everything else is really, really, really low value on her. So if this video helped you, leaving a like on the video helps me. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you're interested in watching me play or talk about League of Legends some more, you can check out my Twitch. It's twitch.tv/SolryNelson. That's it, man. Kai'Sa had her time, last Worlds, but glad she's gone, man. What a gross champion. Kai'Sa Nautilus every fucking day. Whatever, man.